Hey y'all, we're here finally. It's been a day, but we're getting there. Uh, they're cleaning behind me. I'm Ryan. That's Starnes. We're doing a podcast called Talking. No, this is not called that. It's called Cats Cougar After Thoughts Show. And now they put a spotlight right in my eye. They're doing TV across the court, and that's bright. Uh, so our intent was to have Ryan Elvin here with us after the game. Ryan went in with about 4 minutes to play, 3.5 minutes to play, and got busted up in the face. They're cleaning around me now. Uh, he got busted in the lip. I thought it was his nose. It turned out to be his lip, and he was bleeding. Had to come out of the game. I don't think I've ever seen him come out of a game, and had to come out. And they were working on it. And then after the game, they told us he wasn't going to be able to do it, which stinks. But things happen. Uh, Kelvin must have felt sorry for me, and he brought me a bag of popcorn, which he's never done. That's not a Kelvin Sampson sort of thing to do. Starnes, what are your thoughts?
I didn't get any popcorn,
Mm-mm.
which kind of sucks. I was talking to
He
Jeff
felt
Conrad.
bad. He felt bad, so he went and got some for Chris Baldwin and Joseph Duarte after he'd given me some. And he asked me if I like popcorn. It's like, bro, of course I do. Why wouldn't I?
But this was another pretty normal game, sort of a lot like the Rice game, sort of a slow start, and then that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
It's not the most embarrassing thing that's happened to me today. So,
It's they had another sluggish start, a bit like the Rice game. This game more reminded me of the Texas A&M Corpus Christi game, which was also on a Saturday afternoon sort of thing. Um, and then again, they come out of the second half. This whole year they've started second halves crazy, and
yeah.
they did that again, and they just think they allow 23, 26 points in the second half. Um, and I think at least 7 of those were garbage time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. There's a lot there in the last 4 minutes. Uh,
so
that made the numbers not look quite as big.
they got going there. Jackson State, I think, scored five points in an 8-minute span that allowed U of H to go up 20, and that was kind of all she wrote
Yeah,
there.
it
By
was
the last 10
a
minutes, it was done.
20-2 run, and by the time I got the tweet typed out, Jackson State hit a shot. It was like, well, crap, I can't even tweet that. So uh, JoJo Tugler had a really nice game. He did not even attempt a shot, but had 9 boards and 3 steals. Kelvin talked about it a little in the post game, and he was plus 33 for the game. You win by 34, so you know that's pretty big. Uh, when I talked with Kellen yesterday, they're installing red carpet right underneath my feet. Basically, it's they're setting up for graduation at Fertitta right now, and so they're installing red carpet and whatever. When I talked with Kellen yesterday, he said that JoJo hasn't mastered anything that they do, but he plays so hard and he's so long and he gets to certain balls that, they're just going to keep putting him out there. He's one of the few freshman bigs that have ever made an impact in this program. One of them was Jarris Walker, and then Fabian White, and now JoJo. You're just going to keep seeing that guy because he is max effort and long, and he changes, shots. He changes just how people play.
Yeah,
What's the most
anytime.
impressive thing you saw today?
JoJo and Terrence Arsenal, they're rebounding. They combined for 19 rebounds today. Terrence Arsenal has been on a tear rebounding wise the last few weeks. Um, and you can sort of tell as soon as, Calvin gets upset with Javier Francis or one of the big guys, he just turns, tells JoJo to get up, and he goes in. And it doesn't matter when it is in the game. Um, I thought Malik Wilson had a pretty nice game. I think he had his best game as a Cougar. a lot of it was in the second half when it
Mhm.
was sort of done. But he and I think in the first half he came in, provided some good defense and some good offensive rebounding, and was able to help the offense a little bit when it was sort of sluggish a little bit. And then in
Yeah,
the second half, that was when he had some really nice plays. He had 5 steals in this game, um, which is pretty wild.
yeah.
Uh,
Um, I was really impressed with the way Emmanuel shot the ball.
yeah.
Uh, he lit it up in the second half. There was one play, there was a steal, a transition, fast break, and I believe it was Malik that got him the ball out. And I said to you, he better make this.
Yeah.
It felt like a big moment was coming, and he popped it, 3-pointer, and the place went crazy. Uh, Terrence Arsenault has been coming on and been coming on. After I finished my interview with Kellen yesterday, he said, "Watch that one. He's about to burst," pointing at Terrence Arsenault. Um, they think that it's clicked for him, and you're going to see a different kind of guy in the very near future. And you're starting to see it. He's starting to put those rebound numbers up. He's not doing it so much offensively yet, but you start rebounding the ball in this program, you're going to get your shots. You're going to get your opportunities there. Um, let's see what we got in comments. I don't have my glasses on. Arsenault silently starting to come out of his shell. Showtime.
And you wonder him coming out of the shell. It's really just in time. They have the Texas A&M coming up. That could be a game where maybe he has a game like Oregon last year. And then also right around the corner after that is the conference schedule. So, and they're going to need him big time once it really
For
gets in the thick
sure.
of things.
I don't know if we're going to see JoJo shoot the three anytime soon. I would be surprised by it. When the bigs, the fours and the fives, do their post practice work, I just don't see him shooting the three. And so maybe they're just not to that point. Maybe he gets there. Like Jarris would shoot the three a lot last year with Jawan. They would have the little contest. Um, but I don't see JBR or uh, JoJo doing that. And so I
He
wouldn't
has
I wouldn't
taken a three.
expect it. He has, but I wouldn't expect that to be like a something that they focus on in the near future. Um, I was going to say something to you, and I just completely forgot what it was. Starnes. Very important, obviously. Uh, yeah. So Juwan Roberts, a little more problem with the knee, the right knee. It was swelling on him. Kelvin said he probably shouldn't have played him today, which he said that last year about somebody, and it surprised me because he's usually just so confident in the decisions that he makes, but he was not so confident in that one. Um, this game got chippy in the second half. Uh, Jackson State had a couple of technicals, a flagrant, and U of H did not really respond to that. They didn't, out of frustration, do anything, and that's good to see. Um, but let's talk about A&M next week. This is all of a sudden a pretty big game. A&M is going to, I think they're in the top 10 in Ken Palm or the net, one or the other. Um, and this is a pretty big game. You're at Toyota Center. I've never covered a game there. So this will be a first for me. I was trying to think last night at dinner, like how many, I've just never been to Toyota Center that much. I live a mile from there and just have never gone terribly much. Uh, so this will be new for me. Uh, I went to WrestleMania's Hall of Fame introductions, right? I went to a Rockets game 11 years ago, and then I went to a Coldplay concert, and I will not be taking questions about that. But I've not been in that arena very much, so I'm interested to see what it's like. Um, and U of H is, I think it's been 8 years since U of H has played there. It may be longer. Um, I think it was one of these kind of neutral site sort of things, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Uh,
uh, this will be Houston's first big test. Last year it was Alabama and then Virginia, uh, and they really only get one of these sort of ranked non-conference games, and it's going to be Texas A&M in the Toyota Center. They're gonna have to stop Wade Taylor, maybe the SEC Player of the Year, uh, just a massive score. Uh,
this comment,
I'm looking
forget
at
the threes with JoJo, master that 10 to 15 footer like Fabian.
yeah.
Fabian would shoot that shot from the baseline, and he would also go out uh, to the top of the key and shoot that. He was just, I love to watch him shoot. I really did. Uh, what were you about to say?
Texas A&M, according to Ken Palm, 8 in adjusted offensive efficiency, and then second in offensive rebound rate. And this is going to be a tough game, and it's going to be in sort of a neutral site. I don't really know what to expect in terms of crowd at Toyota Center.
I mean, you've got Texas and LSU. LSU got their doors blown off today. Texas got theirs blown off midweek. A&M's playing well. They're 13 in the net, not in the top 10. That's on me. Uh, but yeah, I have no idea what to expect of the crowd. Aggies tend to travel. They're a little, so I think the crowd will be okay, but that's just a really big arena and it'll be hard to fill that thing up. I assume this all hell yeah is about me going to a Coldplay concert, which I did because the girl asked me to go, and she, okay, I don't even know who Coldplay is, but I'll go. This was a while ago. This was not today or anything. Uh, let's look at any of these. We're talking about I don't know. We're talking about Quentin Grimes. Uh, okay, my all-time favorite Coug. He was the truth. Yep. Okay, so they're
These
just
people aren't
having a
even watching us
conversation.
anymore.
Hell no, they're not watching us. Why would you? I mean, they were. We want Elvin. They're all chanting that, and we can't get him. Sorry, but we had
We
him,
could
but we
ask
lost him.
each other
We
the
lost
questions
him.
that we were going to ask Ryan.
Yeah, how's grad school going? Oh,
It's
that's
going
not going to
great.
work. Yeah, that's not going to work. Uh, yeah, well, sure. Ask me the questions. What you got, buddy? I'm gonna have
Um,
my Kelvin Sampson popcorn that
what
Kelvin
goes
Sampson gave me.
what goes through your mind when you hear the "We Want Elvin" chant?
Hell yeah, bitches. That's what we want. We want Elvin. Yeah, that's what I would be thinking if that were me on this. Or I would be like, good Lord, leave me alone. I'm just here. I don't want to be bothered. But I think he steps up to it. I think he really likes it. I think he's kind of embraced this well, not kind of. He's embraced this role that he has in this program of just being the guy at the end of the bench. Um, they tell me he'll wear him out defensively in practice. Kellen in the Ryan will play in the coaches game. The coaches play a game before a home game, and Ryan Elvin and somebody else that I totally am forgetting play in that game that are not playing this year. Maybe Jacob McFarland.
Jacob McFarland.
Um, and Kellen says Ryan wears him out, and I am going to get into one of those games, not to play but to watch at some point because I think that'd just be fascinating to see. I mean, Hollis and Quantis were great players, and it would just be fascinating to see that. Waiting for Ryan to show up in the last few minutes with "By God, that's Ryan Elvin's music." Okay, this guy doesn't get any more of his comments put up. He could go get minutes. Yeah, he could. Um, well, one of the fun things about Ryan, me getting to know him through NIL stuff and through just interviews I've done with him is when he was in high school, he was recruited as a walk on, but he was recruited and he came here for his official visit with his dad, who passed away 2 years ago. And him and his dad both agreed. I mean, as soon as they left the campus and got in the car, like, this is it, this is the place. And they just felt the family atmosphere. His dad thought this was the perfect place for his son to go learn and to get an education. Um, and Ryan shared that story about him and his dad with us last year, which was probably the best thing Go Cougs has ever done. And it was just a really cool story hearing about him and his dad and the relationship they had. Um, and then that moment that they had on that official visit where they both were like, "Yep, this is where we need to be." So, uh, yes, he is from Georgetown or somewhere up there. It's not Pflugerville, but it could be Georgetown. I'm blanking right now, but yeah, he's from somewhere over there. They're all the same. Am I wrong? Vista Ridge, Cedar Ridge, Round Rock
Right.
is where he went to high school. But it's not always how this ends up working. Like Jamal Shed went to Manor, but he didn't live in Manor. Um, but that's just how it goes. Uh, yeah, we'll see about that. Uh, Little E's got a shot. I like watching the highlights that he posts on Twitter. Um, he's got a good little shot, and it could be pretty fun. So yeah. Uh, Hi, Dave Wheat. I'm Ryan. I went to LSU before I came to U of H. The LSU basketball program is in a world of hurt. It is not the days of Stanley Roberts and Shaq. It's quite a ways, um, and UT's really good. So I think that'll be a fun doubleheader, but I don't think LSU has much chance. I think A&M and U of H is going to be competitive. It's going to be a fun game. Um,
That's going to be a game. If the free throws are going to rear its ugly head for U of H,
yeah, I mean, it
that
could well.
and they shot it well today. I think they were
Emmanuel went 8 of 10,
Manuel went 8 of 10.
which
LJ
is a
went 6 of
great
7.
day, but it's still short of what he wants to be. He wants to be 90%. And it's just wild that he's mad about being at 80%. But yeah,
But yeah, they were 22 of 31 today, 71%. That's fine. Um, but Xavier, it was getting real bad. They missed 5 straight, and it looked like that was going to be their undoing. And then they finally started hitting them.
yeah.
Um,
Let's
but I
talk
mean, they're
about
good.
this real quick. Nobody cares about free throw talk. That's like me and punting talk. Nobody wants to listen to that. Can you believe we had a football coach sitting in the stands? So where the football coaches and players have been sitting is right in front of the press box where we sit. And so they were down there Wednesday night, and then Willie walked in with, I don't know, 16 minutes left in the first half, with Iman Nagavi and then the new defensive coordinator and a couple of recruits. And
The linebacker
Willie
coach too.
was into the game. He was working a recruit, working him hard, but he was totally into the game. And he was, they did a service salute at some point of Army. They did all the different songs, and he really got into that. Um, Thunder's rolling overhead. You almost had a rough time getting out of here earlier. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, Willie is such a breath of fresh air. I mean, he was just announced 6 days ago, and he's already flipped the script a couple times and has just been doing everything right. You're going to have to see that happen, down the road and consistently. But so far, so good with Willie Fritz. Love the Willie Fritz hire. I think pretty much everyone says that.
Pretty high approval rating so far.
I miss Dale Brown. I miss Dale Brown. I love Dale Brown. Love that guy. Have stories about him that one day we'll talk about. Nobody wants to hear those right now. Uh, Not heard anything about this. We kind of guesstimated he wants to look at the NBA or the NBA, the NFL draft. He might want to look at the NBA too.
That's a tough
He
one.
wants to look at the NFL draft and see kind of where he's at there. It could happen, but I think if it does, it would be closer to January enrollment than in December. Would be my guess. Uh,
The Wi-Fi's going bad.
I don't know why Alan Tran, the Baylor guy, is killing our comments, but he's all over them, and they're kind of fun. Yeah, that ship has sailed comment did piss a lot of people off, and you know what can you say? But I hope you're having a great time in Cabo, Dana. I'm going to enjoy some popcorn in your memory. I can't believe Kelvin just walked up and handed me a bag of popcorn. He had a huge pail, almost like a garbage pail, or like a beach pail, like you take to the beach and put sand, full of popcorn. And he was like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, "No, but sure." I mean, how do you say no? And then he went into the club area and came back and had me a bag and was like, "Oh, I'm giving out popcorn. Merry Christmas." I was like, "Okay." Uh, I think it's popcorn that started out its life at TDECU. They didn't sell it, and so they put it in a bag, and it's kind of sat, and they used it to prop open doors pregame up here and then uh, it ended up in the club, and then it ended up in a pail, and then Kelvin Sampson went and put it in a bag for me. So it's had a long life, this popcorn, and it's ending. That would be my guess. Uh, that is not something shared by everyone. Uh,
You only get that here.
yeah,
You only get this type of content here.
yeah. I mean, where else on the internet do you see somebody just sitting there eating popcorn that Kelvin Sampson walked up to them and handed them and kind of forced on? Um, I'm a popcorn guy. I like the stuff in the bag from HEB, but they don't do it anymore. And so I found another one. This is insider access right here. Y'all write this down. It's called Indiana. And I went to Denver in August just to get away from the heat. And then I get to Denver and it was almost 100 degrees. It made no sense. That shit followed me across the country. But in the airport, I got this kettle corn called Indiana was the brand. And I'd never seen it. And I mean, it was good. And so I looked around and it's at Walgreens, but it's too expensive. And it was somewhere else too expensive. But then I found it at Walmart. It was $3. I was like, well, that's fine. I'll do that. And then I tried the movie butter popcorn they have, and that's changed my life. And I mean, Kelvin Sampson branded popcorn, pretty good. But that Indiana popcorn, way better. Back to basketball. LJ Cryer had the quietest 21 points you've ever seen, right? I looked up at the scoreboard a couple times and he had like 14 and 17. And I'm like, when? He made 6 shots, a lot of free throws, 6 free throws, 3 3-pointers. But yeah, he is quietly asserting himself as the scorer, and that was what he was brought in to be. But he's making it happen. Saturday will be a big test. You know, I think the combination of Jamal Shed and LJ are vital to everything you want to do this year. And they're going to have to start doing it against better teams starting Saturday and then 3 weeks from Saturday, I think, is when you start Big 12 play. Um, they just don't have a lot of opportunities in the next few weeks. With you have a week off, and then you have A&M, and then you have a week off, and then Texas State. Is that what it is? And then a
Yeah,
week
and
off,
then
and you have Penn,
yeah, and then a week off, and then you have West Virginia.
West Virginia. Yeah. So it's I don't know how I'm going to do daily content every day for the next month, but yeah, we're gonna figure that out. All right, more insider access right here. I'm going to give you something. They don't teach you this when you go to U of H. They don't teach you this anywhere. I like white meat chicken, right? I like a breast. I like a big, juicy breast. If you go to Frenchy's and get a 3-piece and you want 2 breasts, well, they do an upcharge, and it's like 11.89 or 11.88. But if you order the 4-piece, you get 2 breasts, a leg, and a wing, and it's 1 penny more. Go for the 4-piece to get your 2 breasts, and it's 1 penny more. They don't teach you that. A nice lady about 2 months ago taught me that worked behind the register. She was like, no, 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 no. You don't want that. Here's what you want. And I was like, do I? And she's like, it's 1 penny difference. I was like, that's what I want. And so I appreciate that lady because I get more chicken now.
I think
4
this
is
is
a lot
maybe.
more than 3.
I think this is your third straight home game where you've walked in with a Frenchie's Cup.
Well, until they stop me, I'm going to keep doing it. But it's just a good place to go before because I get here 2.5 hours before the game, 3 hours before the game, and then the game, and then we do this show, and I'm here 7 hours, and so you know it's a good meal to get you through. And then I got stupid Christmas party tonight, and I'm trying to avoid that. That's why this is continuing to go on for 27 minutes. Our show is now longer than Pod Slam and Jamma was today. I just want everybody to know that. Sure, it's all been about popcorn and Frenchies and whatever else. But yeah, so here we go. That was the day. That was the game. I already said that. Um, what are your final thoughts on what you
Um,
saw today and what you've been seeing? Starnes and I are basically the only 2 people that go to practice now. I'm sure that's going to change after December. Once you get into conference play, other reporters, media are going to show up. But really, it's me and Starnes. And people go and to get their sound bites, right? But where you really learn, where you really start to understand, is just watching. And I'll watch an hour and a half every time I come, just to see what I can see. And we got to see Malik doing some drills last night that you saw in the game today. We saw Emmanuel shooting the 3, and then bam, he hit 5 of them in the game. Um, you learn a lot, and Starnes is putting that work in, and acting like an actual freaking beat writer. Like that's what you do. You put that work in to get that little nugget, to get that little more information that other people aren't willing to work to get. And that's what I appreciate about Starnes, is that he's all in on doing this the right way, and I appreciate that so much.
Thank
Anyways,
you,
that
Ryan.
was me asking you about your final thoughts, and I just did 3 minutes of dumb stuff. So yeah,
I think we're gonna see this team depth takes them tomorrow. How deep they're
tomorrow.
or not tomorrow, next game.
I was like, uh-oh,
Next week.
what do I have to
Next
do
week.
tomorrow?
Next week against Texas A&M. When you saw it against Xavier, now you're gonna see it against a better team. With Texas A&M this time, it's not going to be on the road, so maybe that's a little bit of a help. But when it gets to those last 12 minutes that 16 to 4 minute range when Jamal Shed has to sit or Jawan Roberts has to sit, and you know maybe Emmanuel Sharp or Damian Dunn's not one of those guys isn't having a good game, you're going to see how far that depth is going to be able to take them against a really good team and against a team that is of the caliber of a lot of these Big 12 teams.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
Also, the free throws. It's been the one Achilles heel, and is that going to hold up if should it come down to it? So far, it has.
Yeah, we'll see. There
It's
was a
really only
lot
been
of
tested
standing.
once.
There was a lot of standing around in the first half today,
Yeah.
and I mean these guys go so hard in practice up until the day before, and sometimes at shoot around. When Kelvin's in a mood, they'll get their asses run in shoot around the day of the game, where you don't see that in a lot of different programs. They just don't do that. But there are times when they're really tired when they get to the game. And I don't think Kelvin's going to do that much going into the Big 12. I just don't think you can, to be honest. They were able to do that in the American and still win 17 of 18 games.
And Jackson
Here's a
State and Texas A&M Corpus Christi, they were able to. There were points where they were really moving the ball well.
boy.
And
I like the way they moved. I like some of their offense, some of the things they were
yeah,
doing. Um, they don't have the talent. There was Webster was out there for much of the game. 5'8", didn't look 5'8", looked 5'5", 5'6", weighed 120 pounds. Uh, but he's had times this year he's scored the ball. I don't think he did today. I don't think he had. It was Chase Adams. Yeah, he didn't make a shot. Uh, he played 20 minutes. I thought, yeah, he was 0 for 2, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. Uh, yeah, so they did some things. And Kelvin talked about their coach Mo Williams, who was in the NBA for 20 years. He played at Alabama for Mark Gottfried. Um, you know, and if you have an NBA coach, they do different things. They move the ball. They have matchups that they like to go to, and I think that's just where this game is headed. Uh, Dave Wheat, when Juwan goes out, the lead shrinks. When he goes back in, the lead increases. So I'm going to tease. We did an interview with Kellen Sampson today. It was the first part of an interview. You're going to see the second part of that interview tomorrow. And in that second part, you're going to see Kellen talk about Juwan here. And he talks about Juwan being the leader of the defense from the baseline out. And what you mean by that is how he talks and how he barks signals to the defense closest to the basket. And when he's in there, he changes shots, he changes what people want to do, but he's also calling defense and getting the guys in the spots they need to be in. And when he comes out, everybody's a lot younger. They're just not, they don't have that 5-year experience like Juwan does. So his knee is a concern. And they get the day off tomorrow, the whole team. It's the day off for the week. And he's going to be with John Houston, the trainer. And, he's had swelling. They're going to try to get that down, probably give him another day off, maybe 2, to get him back to where he needs to be so he can compete in a week against A&M. The next live stream will be after the A&M game. We might have to be in the parking garage. We just don't know what Toyota Center is going to let us do. But we're going to do it after the show, after the game and press conference. And we're pretty much on a schedule where we're going to do these after every game going forward. Got a meeting this week, going to settle some things. And I think we're going to be in a good schedule. The plan is to have players join us for home games. It doesn't work on the road because of their travel schedule after games, but we're going to try to do that for home games. We got off to a rough start. I'm going to admit our guy got in the game and then got hurt, and that's not a good sign. We need to rally from that, but we won't have one for A&M because they'll be busing and stuff back and forth. We're going to see if Galen will join us again. Galen's fantastic. Galen had a good night last night. They played yesterday, his team in Birmingham, and he went 5 of 6 from the floor. He's had 15 points or something. Good for you, Galen. We're on your side, buddy. So, yeah. So thank y'all so much for watching. We just did 35 minutes. Can you believe it? Thank you, Kelvin, for the popcorn and for the blowout win. U of H's 10th win of the year. I was looking from the decade from about 1994 to 2004. You had 11 seasons. U of H had 10 or fewer wins in 8 of those 11 seasons. I mean, it's a whole lost generation for U of H basketball. And you already have that many wins this year. 9 and 20, 9 and 22, 10 wins, 8 wins. You've come a long ways. Kellen talks about this in tomorrow's video about how they've had to change their mentality about going from that program to this program. And it's pretty fascinating. Starnes is an aggressive mini golfer. I don't know how that got on the screen.
That was an accident.
Okay, he is an aggressive mini golfer. We're not getting into that tonight. So anyways, so thank you so much for watching. We've got content every day this week. You're going to love watching the video with Kellen tomorrow. It's very little of me and a lot of Kellen, which is how it should be. Ask your question, get in, get out quick, and appreciate this. I'm going to the suburbs tonight. I'm going to Kingwood for a holiday thing only because they have coconut cake. And if they didn't have coconut cake, I wouldn't go. But they have coconut cake, so I'm going. But thank you for that. Appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. GoCougs.com. Hit the like button on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And subscribe to the site. We have so many good insider content coming up. Starnes is doing things for us, hopefully. Me and everybody else. We're going to announce a new partnership this week that I'm so excited about, and perhaps 2 new partnerships coming up soon. So thank you so much for watching. GoCougs.com, thedailycougar.com. It's where you find Starnes writing whatever he's writing. And thank y'all for watching. Should we do let's do the video to end with Juwan Roberts, because the poor guy's knee. We'll end on this.